Hey guys, how are you? It has been a hot minute since I have been here coming to you live. There's been a lot of things going on in my family and my life. Lost my mother, unfortunately. And so I have been off the bandwagon and I apologize because I am here to bring you strategies and tips to help you increase your sales. And so I wanted to go into this a little bit and talk to you about a subject that has been kind of hot lately. I'm beginning to get a lot of questions about this, and that is on the subject of prospecting. Okay, so let's talk about what prospecting really is. If you really think about what it really is, it's really cold calling, right? I mean, people have got away from that word cold calling, but the reality is it's really cold calling. And I'm doing that in my own work right now. So I know what a pain it can be, right? You're reaching out to somebody who doesn't know you to tell them something and within a time frame that you're supposed to do it in. And so there's a lot of like, how the heck do you do that, right? How do you get people to respond to you? How do you get people to even notice you? How do you get people to even want to talk to you? And a lot of it, I will have to tell you, basically comes down to relationships. But let me talk about a few topics because I think this will be very important. Okay. So if you're having to reach out to people, just like I'm having to do right now in my own job, you have to research the people that you're talking to. A lot of times you'll get contacts, you'll get names, but you don't know anything about them. You don't know where they're located, nothing, right? So the best thing is to research them. Go online, look up their name, or if you have them on Facebook or social media, look them up there and learn as much as you possibly can about them. What I find a lot of times is people, when they're prospecting or cold calling, is they just like, they're given a script or they're given a link or they're given something that's very annoying to a lot of us. And they're just blasting everybody in Messenger because somebody in their mind somewhere is telling them that that's a great thing to do. And I will tell you that is not a great thing to do. That's the number one thing that will turn people off. Like if I open up my thing and I see a bunch of like links and messages, do I want to join something? And they haven't even talked to me. Like you don't even know my name. You don't know anything about me. Like how about hello would be a nice way to start off, right? So you don't want to be that person. So the best way to do is try to find out as much information as you can about that person. Get to know who they are, right? Keep track of this. Like all of this stuff you can keep in a CRM or some way wherever you track your information. But cold calling and prospecting doesn't mean that you have to have a contact today and a close in 5 minutes or a close in an hour or a close by tomorrow. Prospecting takes time because you don't know the person and you don't want to act like you do. And you don't want to like act like you're aggressive and trying to tell them something without spending the time to get to know them. So you want to take the time first to research their information, their LinkedIn, their social media, or warm up to anything that you can. Okay. And then you want to warm up to them. What do I mean by that? Like notice something. If they're on social media and they posted something about their family, take some time to love on them, give them comments, feedback, friend request them, just start to get to know them and notice things about them and like and comment on their social media as well. Anything that you possibly can do to let them know that you're like looking at them, you're interested in them, something maybe about their family or their life or whatever, or maybe there's some commonalities that you can find between the two of you. Maybe somebody's in sports and you're in sports, or somebody likes to cook and you like to cook, right? Find those commonalities between the people. The more you can learn about somebody personally, the more likely they're going to want to do business with you because it shows that you actually genuinely care for them, right? And just really be warm and welcoming and getting to know them. Don't be like the millions of messages that I have in spam and other messages that just goes right to like message, right? Don't do that. Don't be that person. That's the number one thing that will tick everybody off. Okay. Now, when you start to prospect people, I say break it up and do it in chunks. I always talk about this snowball technique that I talk about, right? People don't believe in this, but I'm telling you, this works. So when you're prospecting chunks, you pick a time that's convenient for you, your family, whatever. Maybe it's first thing in the morning when you wake up from like 7 to 8 before you start your workday. Or maybe it's when you get home from 6 to 7, right? Or after you have dinner and you block out time and you say, I'm going to prospect 3, 5, 7, whatever that number is, you pick that, right? Those are the amount of people that you prospect and you consistently do it every single day. What happens is people do 3 on Monday, 3 on Tuesday, Wednesday comes, they didn't answer me. Nobody said anything to me. So they forget. They think, oh, this isn't working, right? The snowball effect, what that means is if you're consistent, you do 3 on Monday, 3 on Tuesday, 3 on Wednesday, 3 on Thursday. Guess what happens on Thursday? Bing! You get a notification that your person from Monday, or a voicemail message or an email back, right? Whatever it is, you get that message back that that person now has responded to you from Monday. But if you quit on Tuesday, stop doing your daily things, right? You're not going to get that. And then when you get to Friday, your Tuesday people are going to get back to you. See what I mean by snowball? It starts to affect and you're starting to get people. And now you're going to have to be even better at keeping track in your CRM or whatever system you have in order to make sure that you're getting those messages and you're answering those people in a timely manner. Okay. Now, I also want you to think about when you reach out to them. Not always first thing in the morning or not always in the evening is a good time to reach out to people because first of all, if you email people in the evening, guess what? You know how your email gets loaded up with all the junk, all the other whatever? Well, your email is buried, right? So if you're emailing, it's probably better to do it first thing in the morning. If you're in Messenger, it's fine if you do it at any time, kind of, right? Because when they finally go to their Messenger, they'll see it. A lot of times that's the only time I get to do it is at nighttime in Messenger because I'm so busy during the day. So you sit down for an hour and you just message people then, right? Same thing with phone calls, right? Obviously phone calls doesn't work at night. You have to do it during the day. So block out your time, but just make a certain block, whatever it is, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 8 to 9, whatever that is, that's your time to do that. And make sure everything else is turned off. All your notifications are off. You're not scrolling. You're not checking things. You're not answering phones. You're not answering texts. You are focused completely on the task at hand in order to do what you have to do. Okay? Next tip. And the most important that I've built my whole sales career on is building rapport and commonalities. Okay, we talked about commonalities a few minutes ago, but I seriously mean building relationships. And I'm not talking about like, if you're selling a product, it's not like, oh, what kind of like collagen do you normally use? No, that's not building relationship. That smells of you wanting to sell that person. The commonalities that you talk about is personal things, right? Nothing that has anything to do with what you do or what you sell or what you want from them. You're just building that relationship and getting to know them. And sometimes it's going to take a while for that person to maybe warm up to you. And then you get to the part where you're like, oh, this is really curious. I noticed you do this and you do this. And then you can ask them, is that what you do? Is that what you do for like your full time? And what you're waiting for is you're waiting for that person to come to you and say, well, what do you do? Right? And that will naturally happen if you're the one that builds a relationship and you're not the one who just starts to like throw stuff at them to try to sell them. It will come out in the normal conversation of building that relationship. And then when it is the right time, you can say, oh, I work from home. And they're going to go, oh, that's great. What do you do at home? Right? You don't want to say, oh, I work at home and I sell this thing. And, I was wondering, like, I was noticing that you're really pretty and you probably take good care of your skin. And so I have this product and like, no, right? That is just wrong. Don't do that. What you want to do is you want to be able to tell people, Oh my gosh, like I noticed like, you went to this movie the other day. How was that? I'm thinking about maybe doing that with my family as well. Or if you saw that they went on a trip, right? Like where did you go? How did did you enjoy yourself? Did you go by boat? Did you go by plane? Did you hike? What did you do there, right? Those are the commonalities that are going to build those bridges with people that they're going to want to do business with you. And the more time you spend caring about them, they're going to care about you. Okay. And when you finally get to the point where you want to transition now into telling them what you do, I always tell people to get like a little sticky and have like 3 bullet points maximum that you want to talk to somebody about. And then you say, you know what? I've really enjoyed having this time spending with you. I've got like 3 things that I wanted to run by you. Would that be okay if I ask you a couple questions real quick? Now they know that you have 3 things, right? So if you mention 1 and you mention 2, they go, okay, 1 more is coming, right? Like they know. Or you say, I have 1 thing, or you have 2 things, or whatever. But you always instruct them and tell them that there's a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. Do you have a couple minutes that I could talk to you about it, right? Maybe you're asking for referrals. Maybe you're asking for business or whatever, but you're asking them their permission for you to proceed. And when they say yes, that's when you go ahead and you proceed and you say, I don't know if this is right for you or maybe for somebody else, but here's my situation. This is what I'm trying to accomplish, XYZ. And I don't know if you know anybody, if I can help me. And in return, I'd like to know, how can I help you? Right? Because you want to make it sure that it's not all about you, that it's always about them too. And it depends on the customer and it depends on what you're trying to do. Like for me, I call on physicians. So if I said, what can I do for you? That would be a little weird. Okay. Because I can't do anything for a physician. I can support them. I can help them with something that they're struggling with. Right? So it really depends. You have to really cater it to who you're talking to, but you can say those things and saying, hey, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. And I noticed that it's been really a difficult time lately. Is there something that you're struggling with, maybe in the practice or maybe, in your life that I could actually return the favor for you? And then trust me, people love that because you're offering to help them. You're asking them of something, but you're offering in return to help them do something. And that is the key point. The important point is for them to know that you want to help them as well. Okay. And then finally, you want to be able to record this in a CRM, keep notes. However, I'm usually very good in my head. I remember a lot of details, but there may be things that you need to keep in track that you can keep notes on, right? Like maybe somebody said, I'm going to Italy with my husband or whatever. And you may remember in your head that they're going somewhere on a trip, but you're like, shoot, where is it they said that they went? But if you go back in your notes and you go, you went to Italy. Okay, now when next time you have a conversation with them, say, hey, how was your trip to Italy? I saw the pictures that you had, or I was thinking about you the other day because I'm thinking about going on a trip. Just curious, how was it? What did you like? What did you not like? Do you have places that you could recommend that I go to in the future? So those are the kind of things that you want to keep track of and reporting on so that you can follow up with them. If they tell you that they want you to call back in 2 weeks, then you put it in your notes. Look at the date and say, okay, 2 weeks from now, and then you call them and you put it on your calendar so you don't forget to call them. See, this is the thing that people always say that they're going to follow up and they never, ever do. And that's another whole video that we can do about follow-up. But the follow-up is so key. People will follow up once, they'll follow up twice, and then they just forget it. They're like, I'm out. They didn't answer me. And then your head goes into this spin tail of like, well, they probably didn't like me, or they're probably too busy, or your head just like starts making up crap, right? And it's probably not even right, but you're making it up in your head. So what I submit to you is take the time. If you're prospecting, let's really call what it is. It's cold calling. You don't know the person, It'd be like if somebody walked in your door, knocked on your door, and said, "Hey, I have this to sell. Will you buy it?" Now that does happen, right? With kids, because we know they're part of a school or Girl Scouts or whatever. And of course we want to support them. But if you were trying to sell them something that you do, it'd be really weird if somebody just came up to you, like, let's say you were at a restaurant, somebody was sitting next to you and they say, "Hey, I sell solar. Do you need solar?" Like, you just don't do that. So don't do that in your real life, even if somebody tells you to do that. I hear so many leaders tell people, "Oh, just here's a script." Everybody always says, "Well, I got to have a script. I don't know what to say." And a lot of times people come to me and say, "Hey, I just want a script of something to say." And it's so hard for me because I don't believe in scripts all the time. Yes, I believe it could be like a little lift off for you, like a little help in some way, but scripts come off so fake and so unreal. And so I'm not a big fan. It's like, just use your head, right? Think about who the person is and just have like a normal conversation. Think if they were your friend, if you really knew them, stop thinking of them as a prospect. But if they really were your friend, would you talk to them the way that you were thinking of talking to them? Would you send them a script the way that you're doing to a cold call? No, you wouldn't. It would be weird. People would think, "What is wrong with you?" So remember, it's all about respect, building that relationship. Building that relationship will build that trust, and that trust will make people want to buy from you. So do me a favor and comment below what you are going to do now to build that prospecting. What are you committing to? And then do me a favor, and I want you to invite 5 people to this group, share it with them, and tell them we're going to be talking about all stuff sales, and love for them to join us here as well. All right. So get back and let me know how everything's going. And I want to know what you're doing this week to make things better for yourself and getting you to prospecting. And did this help? If you have any more questions about prospecting, put it in the comments below. All right. So I'll talk to you guys later, and have a great rest.